Welcome to ABC News Live. I'm Diane Macedo. A lot of news to get to this morning, including new developments in the search for missing Iowa College student Mollie Tibbets. Investigators now say a body has been found. We have a reporter standing by with the latest on that. We're also keeping an eye on President Trump, who now says he could run the Russia investigation if he wanted to. We're going to have the latest on those stories and much more. But first, here are your headlines.
An accused Nazi has been deported from the U.S.
Are you a Nazi?
The last known Nazi collaborator on U.S. soil, picked up by ICE and deported to Germany. ABC News was there exclusively as ICE agents wheeled 95-year-old Yaakov Pali, frail and missing teeth, from his New York home.
Silent Sam, the statue of a Confederate soldier on the University of North Carolina campus, toppled by protesters. Governor Roy Cooper denounced the violent destruction of public property.
Michigan's health director is now facing charges in the Flint water crisis.
Nick Lyon is accused of failing to issue a timely alert about the outbreak. Judge David Goggins spent more than 2 hours summarizing evidence from weeks of testimony and says deaths likely could have been prevented if the outbreak had been publicly known.
New research says a glass of milk at breakfast may be very good for people with diabetes. The study says the milk may help control blood sugar levels for several hours.
And scientists now say they have proof of water on the moon.
After over a century behind bars, these animals have been set free. Nabisco's Animal Crackers unveiled new boxes that feature animals wandering side by side in a grassland instead of cages. The redesign comes after pressure from animal rights activists.
Welcome to ABC News Live. We're going to get right to those breaking developments out of Iowa, where investigators say they have found a body in the search for missing Iowa College student Mollie Tibbets. Our affiliate reporter from Des Moines WOI, Angelina Salcedo, is standing by with more on that. She's on the phone with us now. And Angelina, what do we know so far?
Well, Diane, what we know so far is that officials have confirmed that they found a body early this morning in Poweshiek County in rural Iowa. This is, of course, where Brooklyn is located, in Poweshiek County. They're not confirming who the body is right now, and they're not really commenting on the case, but they will be holding a press conference today at 4 p.m. Central Time in order to give more updates on Mollie's case.
And have they said at all where the body was found, or if they have any idea of cause of death, anything along those lines?
They haven't confirmed anything along those lines. What we can tell you is that right now we know that there is a road blocked off in Guernsey, Iowa, which is about 15 to 20 minutes away from Brooklyn. There's a large police presence there. We are still, of course, on our way there. We're about 30 to 40 minutes away, so we're going to be checking that out as we get there just to see what's going on. But we do not know where she was found. We do not know the cause of her death right now.
And Angelina, I know you spoke to Mollie's father this morning. What did he tell you?
He did tell me no comment. To me, that stood out just because I've spoken to him numerous times over the months that I've been covering this case. And he has always been a very strong, very upbeat, and very just willing to do whatever he can to find Mollie. I don't doubt that that has changed now, but I could just tell that it was a response that was a little bit different than what he's given me before. I do know that he left back to California on Saturday because he was told by law enforcement it was best for the family to try to get back to their new version of normal, really, and try to keep going on while the investigation is going on. We know that Jake was being moved into college as well. And so the family was really encouraged to try to live their new version of normal, to try to keep moving on while the investigation was ongoing. And Rob had told me that he thought that this was going to take a while based off of what investigators had told him. So I'm assuming that this news to just come out like this morning is very unexpected for the family and unexpected for everyone, really.
Yeah, it certainly sounds that way. And Angelina, I know Mollie's brother, who apparently dropped her off when she was at her boyfriend's house dog sitting, has been ruled out as a suspect. Same for her boyfriend and his brother. Is there any sort of inclination that police have any leads here?
We're not really sure if police have any leads. We have asked them about a hog farmer that they had searched his property several times and asked him to take a polygraph test, according to what he told me, but they would not confirm that he was a suspect. This whole entire time that they've been investigating Mollie's case, they've been treating it as a missing person case, treating it as she's alive, but they wouldn't confirm if they had any suspects throughout this whole entire time. So that's something that we're definitely going to be asking them today to see if they have any developments as to how this happened and who this body might be.
All right, Angelina Salcido there from our affiliate in Iowa and Des Moines. Thank you so much, Angelina. So again, 20-year-old Mollie Tibbets, who disappeared about a month ago while jogging in Brooklyn, Iowa, or last seen jogging in Brooklyn, Iowa. Investigators now say the search for her has turned up a body, and we will learn a bit more later on today when they have a news conference on that. For now, though, we will move on to a new round of Trump versus Mueller. The president is now saying that he could run Robert Mueller's investigation if he wanted to. Karen Travers has the latest on that from the White House lawn. Karen, it seems like the president's not busy enough trying to take on some new responsibilities.
This was an interesting comment from the president, Diane, in an interview with Reuters yesterday. He says he has chosen to stay out of the investigation, but if he wanted to, he could take it over. He says he could run it. What he's saying here is that, yes, he does have the authority to fire Mueller, to order an end to the investigation, or to bring it back under the Justice Department. But it's important to remember that this is an independent investigation. This is an outside investigation, a special counsel, which was done purposefully to take it away from the Department of Justice. Now, of course, Robert Mueller still reports to the Deputy Attorney General, but this is all being done outside of that system. The president, has certainly talked in the past about firing Mueller. There have been hints that he was looking to do that. He was apparently considering it very strongly last summer. Diane, the reaction from Republicans on Capitol Hill, even very close allies of the president, is that that would be a disastrous move for his presidency. He cannot do this. He has to just let this investigation run its course and come to its natural conclusion.
And Karen, the other big question that's been floating around for quite some time is, will the president sit down for an interview with Robert Mueller? He now seems to be suggesting he won't. He says it's a trap. What's the latest on that?
Yeah, he seems to be taking the advice of his lawyers all of a sudden. For months, the president has said he wants to sit down with Robert Mueller. He says he's done nothing wrong. He has nothing to hide. So let's go. Let's have this conversation. But he's always hedged that by saying, but I have to listen to my lawyers. And they're, of course, very publicly saying that this would not be a good idea. Over the weekend, Rudy Giuliani, the president's personal attorney for the Russia probe, said that this could be a perjury trap where the president's own words said under oath could be used against him. He says one version of events, somebody like Jim Comey says something else, and then they have to say who's telling the truth here. The president said that could be a reason to not do this interview. He told Reuters, quote, "Even if I'm telling the truth, that makes me a liar. That's not good."
And Karen, I know the Trump administration has also moved to formally replace the Clean Power Plan that President Obama put into effect with the EPA. What's the new plan they're thinking of?
Yeah, this was a big deal when the Obama administration announced this. President Obama said at the time that this was the biggest action the United States had taken to fight climate change. They were trying to reduce carbon emissions by a massive amount, 32% by the year 2030. And the Obama administration was citing public health reasons, saying this would reduce premature births, this would reduce asthma in young people across the country, and also, of course, good for the environment. Well, the Trump administration has said that this was hurting businesses, this was bad for the coal industry. The president, as a candidate and as president, has said he wanted to end the Obama-era war on coal. Diane, the president's going to West Virginia tonight for a campaign-style rally. He certainly will be talking about this tonight because the administration says this is going to make it easier for coal companies to try and compete with natural, renewable resource companies and things like that, who had gotten a lot of attention in the Obama administration.
All right, Karen Travers there from the White House lawn, keeping you busy, Karen. Thank you.
Thanks.
And now let's head over not too far away to Alexandria, Virginia, where former Trump campaign chair Paul Manafort, the trial against him enters fourth day of jury deliberations. Catherine Falders is in Alexandria, Virginia for us, monitoring that. And Catherine, I understand there's some action there lately.
Yeah, just about a couple seconds ago, the defense attorneys walked in. The special counsel notified that the jury has sent a note to the court. A note could be a number of things. You remember they asked for more time to deliberate yesterday, and last Thursday they had questions for the judge to answer. So it's unclear exactly what this is now. I asked the defense attorney walking into court if it was a verdict. He said no, it's just a note. But again, we're waiting for a readout from our troops inside.
Okay, and Catherine, we're in day 4 now. Is that in and of itself a surprise?
Look, multiple legal experts and former prosecutors we've talked to say this isn't too surprising, right? They have so much evidence to pour over, thousands of pages of documents, 388 exhibits. They even requested a bigger room to get all of that carted in. So there's not too much worry, Diane, but there's definitely a great sense of anticipation on both sides here, the prosecution and the defense. Of course, the defense is painting this as a good thing for their client. They say that their client, Paul Manafort, is very happy with the continued deliberations.
All right, well, we'll see how it pans out. We'll wait to hear what that note says, Catherine. Thank you. All right, now to that stunning new claim in Colorado. A man charged with killing his wife and 2 children now says it was his wife who killed the kids. Clayton Sandell is in Frederick, Colorado, following that story for us. Clayton?
Hey, Diane, as if this story could not get any more sad or bizarre, it just took a very bizarre turn. Chris Watts has now been charged officially with the murders of his wife, Shanann, and his 2 daughters, Celeste and Bella. But now, according to an arrest warrant affidavit, Chris Watts, while admitting that he killed his wife, now claims there was another killer in the house. And that is to say, he is blaming his wife, Shanann, for killing his daughters. This is how it's laid out in the arrest warrant affidavit. According to police, Chris Watts admitted that on the morning Shanann was dropped off here very early, about 2 a.m., went in the house. They had a conversation around 4 o'clock in the morning in which Chris Watts claims that he told Shanann that he wanted to separate, that their marriage was not going well. He wanted to separate. He says he took a moment, he went downstairs. When he went back upstairs into his bedroom, he claims that he saw on a baby monitor his wife, Shanann. He says basically he walked in on that scene as she was strangling their 2 children. He claims then that he, in a fit of rage, killed Shanann and then took all 3 bodies in his work truck. It was parked right in the garage, backed into this garage right here. He says he loaded all of the bodies in and then drove them out to property owned by Anadarko Petroleum, which is where he was employed. Now, Shanann's friends believe that that story has no credibility. They say there is no way Shanann would have done that to her children, that her children were her life. Prosecutors, for their part, are not putting any claims of credibility. They haven't said whether they believe this story or not, but you can look at the charges they filed against Watts, 3 counts of first-degree murder, in addition to 2 more counts of first-degree murder because 2 of the victims were under 12 years old. He is also facing 3 counts of evidence tampering. The evidence, of course, is the bodies, which prosecutors say that he took from one place to another, and then 1 count of unlawful termination of a pregnancy because his wife, Shanann, was 15 weeks pregnant at the time she was killed with a son that apparently was going to be named Nico. Now, Chris Watts has not entered a plea for any of these charges. The other thing, incidentally, that was in the affidavit that came out was that investigators determined that Chris Watts was having an affair with a co-worker. So not clear yet what role that development played in all of this, but it is certainly one thing investigators are looking at. Again, he has not entered a plea yet. We have been reaching out to his public defender and not heard back. He is expected back in court today, so there will be hopefully some developments on this case later today. Diane?
All right, a lot of moving pieces in that story still, Clayton. Thank you. And from one grim story to another, a South Carolina woman is now dead after being attacked by a gator while walking her dog. Victor Oquendo is in Hilton Head Forest. And Victor, I understand she was trying to protect the dog when this all happened?
That's right, Diane. She died trying to protect her pet. We are now inside the Sea Pines plantation. That's where this attack happened. We're right by the water here, this little lake. And look what we just spotted. It's kind of off in the distance now. It was closer just a few moments ago. There's a little gator out there just kind of making its way through the middle of this little lake here. This one just a few feet long, nowhere near the size of the one that attacked this woman yesterday. That one is said to be roughly 8 feet long. Officials saying that they captured and killed that gator that they believe attacked and killed this woman yesterday. So inside this area here, It's a really popular little spot because, take a look, you've got a few people riding their bikes right here, a very popular trail people walk or run, but everyone has been keeping a very close distance from little bodies of water like this one that you'll find throughout the area because of what happened yesterday. So let's go to some of the video from the scene. This 45-year-old woman, Cassandra Klein, was walking her dog around 9:30 in the morning, apparently very close to the water's edge, when this gator lunged out and apparently latched on to the dog's leash. This woman tried protecting her dog. She tried fighting it off, but they both got pulled into the water. The dog would make it out okay, but this woman sadly died in the process. As you can see, though, this area, I mean, it's really not that tough to find alligators. We just showed you that one earlier when we first came in here. We were very close to a canal, and we spotted another big gator out there. So residents that we've spoken with here say that it's really nothing new seeing gators out here, but they've never quite seen anything like what we saw yesterday, Diane.
How unusual is something like this, especially in an area like that where you say is pretty popular with pedestrians, bike riders, you name it?
An attack like this is incredibly unusual. This is only the second alligator-related death in South Carolina in 42 years. So right now the advice from experts is don't get any closer basically than what we are right now, about 10, 15, 20 feet from the water, and do not walk either a small pet or a child anywhere close to the water's edge. These things lunge out and they can make their way out faster than you can react.
All right, good advice there, Victor. It's just a sad story. Victor Kinder there for us in Hilton Head. Thanks. And now let's get to those flash floods in the Midwest. Wisconsin is dealing with potentially record rainfall, forcing multiple water rescues. And now that threat is moving east. Ginger Z is tracking it all for us. Ginger?
Diane, thank you. Let's start in Madison, Wisconsin. Nearly a foot of rain, dozens of water rescues, still one man missing after being swept away in those floods. And this storm that's been torturing the Midwest and plains can do it again today. Flash flood watch is still in place. Heavy rains surrounding that low pressure system. You can see the counterclockwise rotation. Some of the heaviest could fall there in western and central Pennsylvania, western Virginia, and North Carolina in the mountains. But it's not just flash flooding. Damaging wind is one of the primary threats. And we're talking about wind that can take down trees, put them into houses, into cars, be extremely dangerous. So if you're in Pittsburgh or you're in Charlottesville, certainly the entire state of West Virginia has to be on alert later this afternoon and evening. That's the severe weather threat, but we've got to look at something that looks severe, and that would be Hurricane Lane, a Category 4 hurricane in the Pacific Ocean, swirling toward Hawaii, getting even closer as we get through Wednesday and Friday of this week. So the latter half of the week is where we're going to watch out for the potential for flash flooding. Oahu and Kauai included, Honolulu too. Tropical storm force winds could be felt far outside of the center of that. So we'll be watching that one. And then in the Pacific Northwest, it's been an air quality alert. Couple of days, thanks to the fires, ash falling on people's cars. You can barely see the skyline of Seattle there. The visibility is so bad, and it all has to do with that air being trapped in that little trough that's out there. So still air quality alerts as far east as Montana. Missoula got their first rain in 47 days. So on their 48th day, they had a long, long stretch without rain, and things are starting to change, but it still doesn't mean that the winds aren't high. Red flag warning still up in parts of Nevada and California. Diane?
All right, Ginger, thanks. And now a question for everybody out there. What would you do if you showed up to a date only to learn that that person actually wanted you to compete for their affection? Well, it apparently happened to dozens of men here in New York City, and Eva Pilgrim has the latest on that story. Eva, I'm sure they were totally cool about this, right?
Oh, yeah, you know, you just totally duped and you're fine with it? Not exactly. Some of these guys have taken to this woman's Instagram. They are blasting her, all kinds of comments on social media about it. But this is where it all happened. Right here, we're in Union Square, here in New York City. This woman, Diane, this is crazy. She had been sort of lining up these men, some of them for months. We talked to one guy. He was told that this woman was busy and that, do you mind if I just get back to you in a couple weeks? And he's like, sure, no problem, right? She swiped right on him on Tinder. He thought he was good. 2 weeks later or so, she messages him back like, hey, meet me in Union Square. Well, he gets here and there's like almost 200 guys here. They all look around. They realize something's up. And then she pops up on stage and is like, I'm going to make you guys compete for me. And some of them left, But a lot of them stood there for a minute, which is a little crazy. And then she started eliminating them. If you're in a relationship already, get out of here. Apparently a bunch of guys on Tinder are in a relationship already. She got rid of all the guys who were not taller than 5'10". She had a thing against guys named Jimmy. If you were wearing tops, you had to leave. No beards. There's a whole random list of things that she didn't want. And then the guys that were left had to actually do this competition, kind of a Hunger Games for a date with this woman. She made them do push-ups on the spot, sprinting right here in the middle of New York with all of the people walking by, sprinting back and forth for her affection. And then she made them explain to her why. Why would they want to go on this date with her? Quite frankly, Diane, I'm not sure if the ones that stayed would be the ones you would want to go on the date with, but all of this is a stunt. She did this with a man who has done viral videos before, this man named Rob Bliss. He did that catcalling video you may remember from back in 2014, and that video got more than 40 million views online, and so they are actually going to put together some sort of video about all the things that happened here in Union Square, and it has a purpose. We're not exactly sure what that purpose is yet. Something to do with dating, and I imagine apps and sort of what that experience is like. But if you are single in New York City, you know, the dating game here is not fun, especially for women. So a lot of my single girlfriends haven't been too thrilled about seeing this all play out for everyone to see. Diane?
Well, Eva, maybe you've been just going about it all wrong. Maybe the girlfriends need to start doing it this way. You know, you just get dozens of guys together, make them run a foot race, do some push-ups, and you pick a winner at the end.
Yeah, I mean, we were all sort of surprised as you watched this video that they stood there and the guy, one of the guys we talked to said pretty obediently, that's the way he described it, they were doing what she asked of them, sort of without any immediate reaction, which is shocking since they had all pretty much been duped to be here.
So was there a winner really quick, Eva?
There was a winner. We don't know who the winner is, but we will find out on Thursday. And another little tease for you. Apparently the woman at the center of all this is going to be on GMA tomorrow.
Ah, keeping us in suspense. All right, Eva Pilgrim, only in New York. Thanks, Eva. And not too far from there, also in New York City, Will Gans is standing by with the latest on the MTV VMAs. J-Lo absolutely rocked the house, and women ruled the night. Will, what were some of the headlines?
Some of the headlines, you just nailed two of them right there. Have to start off with J-Lo, who just a little bit ago was right across the street from me right here at Radio City Music Hall. She won the Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award, which she's following in the footsteps of folks like Justin Timberlake, Beyonce, just to name a few, Rihanna. But she performed a set of her classics for 15 minutes, and that choreography was nuts. She blew everyone away last night. All the songs spanning decades, so I hope you got to see some of that last night. 15 minutes of J-Lo is not enough J-Lo, but at least we got that much last night. Her acceptance speech was amazing, but J-Lo actually is the first Latin performer to ever win the Video Vanguard Award at the VMAs, and that was just one celebratory moment for the Latina community last night. Camila Cabello taking home the two top awards last night at the VMAs as well. You know her. She performed on the GMA Summer Concert Series this summer. She's a friend of ABC News. But Camila performed last night, took home Best Artist and Best Video of the Year, accepting that award from Madonna. But like I said, it was a big night for the entire Latin community because Maluma was there as well, and he caught up with me on the hot pink carpet right over there and told me why he was so excited to be a part of the VMAs last night. Take a look at that moment.
You're performing tonight.
Oh yeah, I'm super happy. Actually it's my first time here at the VMAs, and I'm super happy because I'm gonna have the honor to sing for the first time a whole Spanish song at the VMAs. That's crazy. It's the first time in the history of the MTV VMAs.
I can't believe that this is the first time we're getting a full Spanish language song.
Yeah, right.
That must be a little bit of pressure. How are you feeling? Are you nervous? Are you anxious? Excited?
Well, I know I look like I'm super happy and nothing's happening, but inside of me I'm super nervous. But I think it's gonna be great. The nervous, sometimes it helps you to grow up on stage.
He also knocked it out of the park last night. I don't know if you saw his set, but he had all of these fabulous female backup dancers behind him. And they were just some of the females that were celebrating last night. Nicki Minaj, killer performance downtown at the Oculus. Ariana Grande as well. Diane, I missed seeing you last night on World News Now, but I know you're having fun up here in Midtown. We'll have to have a J-Lo dance session when I get back.
Hey, I am always game for a J-Lo dance session, Maluma dance session, you name it. It looked like you had way too much fun on this assignment. Will Gans for us in Midtown Manhattan. Thanks, Will. And we'll do a lot of other fun interviews as well. You can check those out on abcnews.com along with all of our other headlines of the day. And don't forget, you can find all that at the ABC News app as well. For ABC News Live, I'm Diane Macedo. Have a great day, everybody.